Yo, real quick before we get into this episode, it's a banger. Don't get me wrong, bro. It's a banger. Check it out. But before we get into this podcast here, Jorge, right now at 179, get stop being a piece of shit. Go over, click his fucking link. It's in the description. It's right there. You barely even have to look for it. You scroll half a mouse wheel guy, whatever the increments on that thing are. You go one of those and it's right there. So quit being a little couch potato. Just subscribe, dude. That's all you got to do. Don't cost you nothing. And then you get to see this man eat a bunch of hot sauce, and it will be hilarious. Um, if you remember, me, Cowpat, and my boy Louis Meds, we all ate three of the hot one sauces, and I'm gonna mail some of them to Jorge if he hits his goal in time. So do the thing. I don't remember when the end is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, I forgot to do this, and I'm doing it now, much later in the night when I'm a little fucked up. So now this is just this is what we're doing. Okay, but yeah, I don't remember what the end goal is here. So you just do it now. Don't wait. Just do it. Just subscribe now. All right. Um, as you'll notice when you go to subscribe, if you haven't already, which I'm sure most of you are, but um, dude's got some of the best thumbnails in the game, dude. Like, it's insane. Makes me want to click on all of them. And this is my personal account, which I just subbed to him because he was at 178. I'm already don't. This isn't like don't. I'm scrolling, but it's not like I haven't watched any of these videos. I just watched them on the fucking Shaykwaza account. So don't you, don't you even dare come at me sideways in the comment section. Oh, I know, dude, you were gonna. Somebody was typing like, oh, I know this motherfucker didn't watch any one of his man. Inhale poots, bro. It's what you need to do. Inhale some poots. So, yeah, this has been a wide range of things, huh? I'm gonna stop talking now. Enjoy the video. Subscribe to Jorge. Don't be a piece of shit. Hi, hello, and howdy. We're back for another episode of Shaynanigans. You can see I'm joined by my boy, Sir Jorge D. Great. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, bro. Just chilling, going insane in this quarantine situation.
Right? I
Uh,
wish we had already been recording because we've already had a couple solid chuckles here while we were getting set up. But
yeah.
yeah. So quarantine. How you holding up? You doing anything different?
It was a funny story. So I actually lost my vehicle right at the beginning of quarantine.
Ooh.
Like weeks before, I got hit twice within 4 days, and so I had to go and turn
Did
in my
somebody
vehicle
put
to.
a hit out on you twice in four
Yeah, no,
days?
bro.
Like,
I was heading to school, and some chick hit me from behind, and then they took off, and then 4 days later, I woke up and I was heading to my car, and some drunk driver scraped the side of my car, and that was a sight to behold. I was like already like shook, and like I was like already in the feels from that first incident,
uh huh.
and that second one, I was like, I swore I upset some kind of god out there because there was like, you shall not drive,
Yeah,
and so I
you're like, I'm gonna praise a little and eggy, and God was like,
yeah,
hey, listen here, dude. I'll tell you what.
shit. And so yeah, I lost my car, and I recently got a new one back in August because I thought we'd be back. I'm in college, so like I thought I'd be back on campus by this time, and nope. So just slowly going insane every single day.
I
Uh,
feel that.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I guess at least of all times to lose a vehicle, at least it's during a however month long period where you don't need to drive that much. I mean, but
right.
you probably still been going to work almost every day, right?
So fortunately, so I work at a middle school, and so we've been meeting virtually, so
Ooh,
through
okay.
Zoom and all that. So it's kind of nice because top half I'm a button down, bottom half I'm whatever. The kids don't need to know what I'm wearing. Um, there's times where I get up and I'm like, do I have to adjust? Do I have to like scoot over a bit too much to the right? I mean, it's not like I'm nude or anything, but like pajamas. I don't want them seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You got that
like so,
I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but you're that dressed down mullet, business up
yeah,
front,
yeah,
party in the back.
yeah. Business on top, party at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so man, work has been insane because like we do we're meant to do something, but because all the kids are at home and they're not really cooperating, we had to adjust everything. So it's been nuts, and unfortunately, my boss has been like very patient with us and the kids, and so yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
I know everyone I know that has kids is just like going through hell right now trying to get them
Right.
to like I got a buddy who's been posting on Facebook, and he'll say like, I've been trying to teach my kid, to not grow up and be like a Gen X kid, but every time he gets a question right, he stands up and does a Fortnite dance. So I was like, well, I mean, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Right. I know my advisor, he has like 5 kids at home, and I'm like, oh God. And so it's like he and his wife, but I'm like, 5 kids at home, that's got to be rough. And they're little ones too, so they're around the house constantly. It's like you throw a bouncy ball, and you have that effect everywhere. But yeah.
Yeah, that's borderline too many kids. I don't want to, I think after 4, you're probably like, so we're gonna name the next one vasectomy, right? Like,
Yeah. My mom was telling me like Philip Rivers, the quarterback of the Chargers, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
9
football,
kids.
but that makes sense.
Yeah, he has 9 kids, and I'm like, you gotta dry up
Jesus.
that river real quick.
Yeah, for real. He's fucking shooting rivers out. Jesus
Yeah, I know.
Christ.
He can't throw a football, but he can sure shoot.
God damn. Okay, so the first thing we got to get into here, I've been looking at the link on the screen, and I got to
All right.
pass it along here. So let me send you. I'll send it to you on Discord.
All right,
just
sounds
a
good.
link to clips of the 2 parts of that fight.
All right.
You didn't watch it live, right?
No, I did not.
Okay, and I'm sure you've seen some of the memes because they've been hilarious. Yep. But if you look at that video, I don't know if it'll show up for you, but I left a comment with timestamps. It's 6 seconds and 35 seconds are what you're going to want to be looking for.
How do I? I'm sure I. Oh, actually, I do see it. Yeah, 6
Nice.
seconds. Let's see. Oh yeah, I do see that clip on Twitter. The nasty hook.
Just
insane.
God. Okay, so that's the first one, right? Now do the 35-second one.
All right. Bro, yeah. Ow, man. Like,
he might have died. I don't know. I'm no medical professional, but he might have died.
I think if you zoom in real close, you can see his soul slowly escaping his body.
Yeah, that man I think he sent him to the Shadow Realm, I think.
I know, right?
So
insane.
Obviously, like that's like my favorite part of living in today is something will happen that people watch, right, or people are a part of, and then the internet is just like, we're gonna make memes now, so
Right.
like people, I think there's just people in a factory somewhere just churning out fucking memes. So I'll pass you a couple of my favorite ones here.
All right.
Obviously you got the standard, you got the classic.
Right.
You got the classic.
Gotta get out.
And then you got some creative marketing here. I'll be putting these on the screen too, so the people watching will be able to see. Got some creative marketing here with Tempur-Pedic.
I thought it's a good opportunity too.
Mm-hmm. They should air that. I would air that for sure. I don't know if you. I know you watch anime, but I don't know if you've seen Dragon Ball, like old school Dragon Ball Z.
I know isn't that like the Yamchas, the guy who always gets his ass beat?
The funny thing is too, with this particular scene, they did in Dragon Ball Super, they did almost the same scene, but it's like in an episode where he's finally cool, like they're playing baseball and he's like, I'm good at baseball, I finally get to do stuff, and then he ends up in a ditch like that too. Like they almost gave him a cool episode, and then they had to just do him dirty.
It's like wait, no, this is Yamcha we're talking about. Cut him off.
He's had too much time in the limelight. Let's fuck him up a little bit. And then last but not least, and I think this is the best one. So it's Jake Paul so then you have to like super messed up, but like
I haven't seen that one, so that got me good.
That hat has seen some things, let me tell you. That hat has been some places. Good God.
The FBI wants to know its location because they know some secrets.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, that was I watched it with a couple friends, and that was I don't get into sports very much. I don't really usually, order the fights or anything, but they were like, it's going to be like a legendary event. You should watch it. And I was like, I'm down, I'm not against it. So we had a couple drinks, and then I remember being I was standing up for a good amount of that fight, and then a good amount of the Mike Tyson fight too. I was like, why am I standing up? Am I this excited right now? And then I was looking up like, I am this excited. This is badass.
Let's go.
Violence, hell yeah.
Bloodshed.
And so I don't know if I'm using this word correctly, but I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about your thumbnail game. Like,
okay.
Dude, What the fuck? How did you just like have a decision one day where you woke up and you were like, you know what? I want to be that dude. I'm trying to be the thumbnail guy. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
dedicate my energy to this because like
yeah,
whenever people will talk to me about thumbnails, I've sent several people screenshots of your thumbnails and be like, this is what you're gonna want to aim for right here. You know?
right. So yeah, no, whenever I started like content creating, I would always see like some cool thumbnails and sometimes with like the Wi-Fi league anyways, sometimes it's just screenshots of battles and I'm like, that's really boring. And so I figured some way I could stand out is making some really wacky ass thumbnails. And so that's really what drove me. And I actually was looking back at my thumbnails, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I was reviewing some of them. I'm like, oh, these were really good. These are really good, and some of them weren't so good. And I think recently, once I started getting really like Photoshop heavy
Mm-hmm.
in my thumbnails, that's when they started like to do well. So like me giving birth. I
That's
think it's,
the best one. That
I,
is.
and like people
Oh
were
god,
like were telling me like Jorge, what the fuck? And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Like I know this is gonna grab attention.
dude.
So like it's not like I'm just like delusional or slightly delusional. You can't be fully sane to make some of this shit
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up with.
For sure.
Um but yeah, I think another one that's my favorite is it's a Dragon Ball Z reference. It's Zergatry like doing the Kamehameha and I'm getting obliterated.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
I'll send you. I can send you if you want them. The
For
images,
sure. Yeah,
but
if you send it to me, I'll put them up, and the
perfect.
people at
Yeah,
home can definitely
but so
see.
yeah, like right now, I'm trying to figure out like what is the next thumbnail that's gonna get people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had an idea for our match for the UPA
Mm-hmm.
with Gengar. I was gonna make like putting the icing on the cake and just make it really fucking creepy. Uh, but it just didn't work. I was like, I'll save that for another day. I'll save that for
Mm-hmm.
another day.
Fair enough.
And I was gonna put your face on Creamy too. That's what I had in mind. That's the vision I had. And I sort of backed away from that. I was like, I'll save it for another day.
For sure.
Wait, what did I use? I don't remember what I did for that actually. Uh,
I don't either.
has that video gone up? Yeah, it has gone up, right?
Yeah, because that was last week. Was UPA? What? This always happens. We play each other 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Always. So it's like I can't. It's hard to differentiate one from the other.
Yeah, honestly.
But it was funny that you mentioned people being like, "What the fuck, Jorge?" Because I remember I was at work and I saw a thing. I don't remember if it was on Discord or Twitter, but it's Seabad and he's going, "Jorge, what the fuck?" And I remember I screenshotted it and I was laughing so hard, and I wanted to keep it as like a reaction image. And then it was like one of those just got shuffled late. It got shuffled too far deep into the phone and eventually got deleted.
Right.
I never got to use it. But I was like, this would make it, the next time Jorge makes a good thumbnail, I'm gonna just use this, and then that'll be like the reaction image for that. And I just
Right.
forgot,
Actually, speaking of Seabad, I was watching it that night. I was watching his stream, and midway he pauses and he goes, "Guys, I want to just talk about something." And he pulls up the fucking thumbnail on stream, and he goes, because I talked. He goes, "Jorge, what the actual fuck?" And someone clipped it for me, and I actually have that saved somewhere now.
That's fucking
And
awesome.
so like I'm probably gonna use that as like a notification for my streams if I ever get a hold of that or somehow manage to stream better.
Shit, even that or like the little channel intro videos people do and shit. That could
Yeah,
definitely be
yeah.
a blurb in there. I know I was watching his episode of the Grandmaster's Table, and which R.I.P. F's in the chat, but for now, and they were asking him, how can you get noticed as a content creator? What's a good way to like kind of differentiate yourself from the pack? And he mentioned your thumbnails, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, that's the fucking boy. Like
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. Even Seabad's
Yeah.
like, this guy, he might have been like, what the fuck, but he's like, this guy fucking knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, like again, like I knew that this was gonna stand out far more than your typical thumbnail, and so I think I do credit like my growth because of my thumbnails, because I feel like if I had like not to push in other people's thumbnails, but like if I had more standard like screen cap from the battles kind of thumbnails, I feel like I don't think I'll be where I am right now.
For sure.
Because I think that really differentiates me from other people, and I'm still trying to figure out like my content, right? I have my thumbnails, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my channel that makes it unique as well, like on top of the thumbnails. So I have a few ideas. I'm writing a few scripts, so we'll see.
Ooh, you got some scripts, huh?
Yeah.
God damn. So
Yeah.
I know you mentioned to me, or I know you talked about it before, but you mentioned, I know you were in improv and stuff. So I assume, and I think you've said you've done like stand up before, like open mic night or whatever. So, do you watch other like comedy podcasts? Do you have favorite comedians? What is your view on that world like? And this isn't
So
supposed to be
like,
like a full formal interview, but I'm actually genuinely curious about like
yeah,
a
no, no,
whole
no, yeah,
bunch of
of
shit.
course. So like, I'll be honest, like, I'm not too deep into comedy. Like, so I've been acting for 6 years now. I started acting in high school, and then what really got me into was improv.
Mhm.
There was one morning I showed up to the Black Box, just like a theatrical room, and my director was she was like, "Oh, Jorge, do you want to try improv?" And I was like, "No." And she was, "You want to try improv?" And she threw me to the auditorium, and I fell in love with it ever since. And
And now you
I
say
got
yes and.
yes, and exactly. And so the only time I've done stand up was my senior year of high school. We had sort of like a student competition. It was or a talent show for the teachers and the students,
Mhm.
and no one had any like trust in me at all. They were like, "This guy's gonna blow it," Not even my parents or my best friend believed in me.
God
And
damn.
so I go up on stage, I do my routine, and I remember leaving the stage, and one of like the freshmen, or I think she was a sophomore, theater kid, she goes, "That was actually funny," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was funny." It was a bunch of like toilet humor, but I it was honestly one of my favorite moments, and I've been meaning to go back onto the open mic nights. I've been writing some stuff about that, and I was going to this year, and then COVID fucking hit, and I was
Dude,
like,
exactly the same. I've realized that I think that's more of my wheelhouse for the like I started doing YouTube and shit, and I was like, Pokemon is my thing. It's what I do. And then you start doing Pokemon, and it's like, that's what every Pokemon content creator does, is like Pokemon. So that can't be your thing if that's
yeah.
1,000 other people's things just that you talk to on a regular basis. So I was like, what is, kind of the same thing figuring out my content. I was like, what is
Right.
your thing? And I was like, I guess that's, I just, and like toilet humor, but still, like, that's my thing, I guess, is that's just the comedy thing. And like,
So
so I feel like I didn't think I was ready to do it until about March of this year, really, when I
really,
finally was like, you know what? I think I got enough like backlog shit to where I think I would be able to, no matter what happened, I'd be able to kind of talk myself out of a hole if I needed to. And then I was like, I'm gonna go do it. And my friend came to visit from Australia, Pat, who's in UPA with us, and I was like, so uh for one of the little adventures we're gonna do, I'm gonna take him to an open mic night, and I'm not gonna tell him that I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna, because I was on like an email list, I'd like signed up and shit, and then fucking COVID hit, and I was like, what the fuck, man? It took me
yeah.
so long to get the balls to do this, and then there's a pandemic and it's closed. I was like, man, fuck this
Uh,
shit.
I watched the new Twilight Zone, and the
Mhm.
very first episode is about a stand-up comedian who isn't funny. And I remember watching that, and I was like terrified. I was like, maybe I shouldn't go up because, um, right? Because like sometimes something could be funny to you, but it isn't funny to somebody else. And I was gonna bring up, finding sort of what your thing is, like what makes you stand out. That's really what I'm looking into. Is doing like Pokemon comedy sketches.
Mhm.
And so I've had this one series in mind for a very long time. I talked to my best friend about it, and he's gonna help me like sort of like edit it a little bit to make
Hell
sure
yeah.
like the jokes are funny and not just funny to me.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be I can't give an actual like release date because I don't know when I'm gonna record this one. I don't know when the script is gonna be done. But that's something I actually I've had in my mind for such a long time.
Mhm.
It's just some sort of sketch comedy deal, whatever.
Fair enough. I feel you. And I know I tweeted one time about whose line is it anyway, just of
Right.
like of just sheer nostalgia. And I remember you commented on it and you were like, "That's my shit." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Jorge's my fucking guy. I like this guy now." I already liked you ahead of time, but I was like, "This fucking already like got
Yeah.
Texas and fucking whose
Right.
line is it?" That
Who's
show
lying?
was
Yeah.
like legendary back in the day,
Yeah.
man. I remember basic cable, man. That was the best thing on TV. You know?
I'll be honest. I've spent quite a few hours just watching like their old stuff, like the games over and over again. I'm
Hmm.
like, they're funny, and like I'm almost like I want to get to their level of improv one day.
Exactly.
One day.
I always knew improv wasn't really my thing. I'm sure I could do it. Like if they were like, hey, well tonight's improv, I would be like, all right, let's do it. But it's never been like my specific
Mhm.
wheelhouse kind of thing. But
Right.
there's this group in Dallas. Apparently, it's called, I forget, it's 4 day weekend or 3 day weekend or some shit like that. And like I remember my parents telling me like, this is the funniest thing in the world. You have to go see it. And I was like, fine. So I looked up tickets, and it's booked a year in advance. I was like, oh my god, this must be
Wow.
that real shit. So I forgot about it because it's like I'm not paying money for something for a year from now. Like whatever.
Right.
I'm a struggling young adult. I don't have $80 a year from now. I don't even have $80 now.
Yeah.
So I never
Exactly.
I never went to go see them. And then my mom and her boyfriend, my stepdad now at the time, they got married on stage there. Like he proposed on stage there. Like that thing, it was such a big deal that they're like, this is what we're doing. This is like our fucking proposal thing, and I was like, I should have
Right.
gone to see him, huh? Shit.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I wonder if like your mom was like, yes, and
Yeah.
is this part of
Yeah.
it?
They said how the proposal happened was they had because they'll call volunteers up on the stage and shit. So
Mhm.
they called my mom's. Well, I'll just call my stepdad. They called my stepdad up there, and he had on like a red shirt, cargo shorts, standard Texas dad, bald guy with a ball cap and a beard, Um, and then so they kind of worked him into a sketch, and then they called my mom up there, and they replaced him. They just had one of the people on stage who was he's a little heavy set, so they kind of just replaced him with someone that looked like him and had them dress exactly like him. And then they had like my mom kind of turn around, and he was talking to him, and then she turns around again, and it's my stepdad who's on one knee and like proposing to him,
Wow.
and I was like, that's fucking awesome. And then I really
Right.
regretted, like, I really wish I had gone to see them, because now I'm gonna have to wait. Now if it's now we get a year of COVID and then another year of wait time on top of
Yeah,
that. Like,
exactly.
I should have fucking planned this out better. But
That's
yeah,
really
man, it's
cool.
crazy that world is like that big. You never really hear about it except for
Right. No, no,
TV shows
definitely
and stuff.
not. Because like you think of theater and it's like only theater. It's not like and like even improv in itself, like the art of it, it's blended like throughout the entirety of the craft. So
Mm-hmm.
like, I remember there was one time where I was performing in a show 2 years ago now, and it was like a really small detail, but it was again that years of improv. I my character was holding several cigarettes in their hand, and I dropped one, and I never dropped one like during the entire rehearsal process. And this is show night, and I'm like, and I sip on it, I put it out, and then my director comes up to me and he goes, "That was genius. I would never have thought of that." And I'm like, um, and I think it's because my experience with improv is that I'm able to come up with these really weird thumbnails. Again, like everything coming back to the thumbnail, but yeah, I think it's because like whenever I'm in a battle or whenever, sometimes the thumbnail will come to me naturally, but sometimes it takes a bit of thought. But usually it's on the spot. I'm like, there's the thumbnail, done, it's
Mm-hmm.
over. Because I think when it came to like the birthing one, I think it was like mid video. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be giving birth to playoffs.
Because that was the thing, right? It was playoff push, so it
Yeah,
kind of
oh yeah,
made
pushing
sense.
for play. There you go,
Yeah, there
there
you go. Oh man, that's so funny. That's kind of how this podcast has gone for me. I feel like it's been like almost like a training ground, of
you go.
like putting thoughts together and trying to make them all, even if it's three different stories and a dick joke, at least like I
Mhm.
try to kind of make them all go in the same path of a conversation or something. I don't know. And it's
Mhm.
weird because it's just me, so it's like I'm yelling at me on the screen, so it's like there's no feedback or anything until I
Mhm.
fucking post it. But that's kind of how it is like I never know. I try to make funny titles with puns or something, and usually it's just I'll say something off the cuff in the middle of the thing and it'll be like, that was
It sticks out. It
pretty
sticks out to
funny. Yeah,
you.
we'll
Yeah.
just make the whole episode that then. Fuck it.
Yeah. No. And I definitely agree. Again, it's like that creative process, if you will, of like trying to figure out, okay, what made this episode, what made this battle unique,
Hmm.
and what will grab people's attentions. And so sometimes it's a dick joke. So
More times
it's
than not, I think. At least for me, it's a dick. There's
sometimes
poop
it
or
could be
dicks
really
or
long and
something.
hard to think of a one, but
Yeah, you
in
know
the
what?
end,
And sometimes they get real messy, but you never know.
yeah,
You just got to be a real straight shooter, and it'll come to you.
yeah.
Um, okay, so I know we both have in common that we're in that world of comedy and whatnot. And then
Yeah.
another thing is obviously we're both in Texas, which
Right.
is you'd think for being such a big place there would be more content creators here. I only
Right.
know a handful that I interact with, I guess, at least. A lot of
I
people I
think,
think have that in their team name, but they're not actually here.
yeah, no, I think I know like you and some other people like Rogan Bogan. I think it's from no. I know somebody from like my main league, the SSBL, is from Texas as well.
Hmm.
I don't think it's Rog, but I know like someone is in like south from me. But yeah, not many Texas creators. You think there'd be, yeah, like you said, you think there'd be more, but
Hmm.
um, I guess we're too focused on football or some other crap to think
Yeah.
of YouTube.
And that was one thing that was funny whenever we were scheduling, and we were literally scheduling around the loudness of other people
Right.
watching football. Because I was like, I know my roommate's a Cowboys fan, and he's gonna have a couple people over. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to record a game while fucking interceptions are being thrown behind me or
Right.
whatever. So and
Yeah.
that's what it was funny because you were like, actually, yeah, it's gonna be about the same thing in my house. So I was like, all right, this guy gets it.
Yeah, no, my folks are like hella loud. I recently purchased this blue microphone maybe 2 months ago,
Hmm.
and I had like a headset, And so with that headset, you could hear my folks screaming downstairs, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. That's not good. Fortunately, with this new microphone, you really can't hear them. I think I've been on call like once or twice where if it's like our soccer team playing, that's when you can hear them. But
Mm.
like it's loud and it bleeds through my headphones, and it's like I think we've become partially deaf because of the screaming and the yelling. Like it's like like we have we're a little less sensitive, if you will, when it comes to like loud noises.
Yeah, it makes
Uh,
sense. It's like when you if with a baby, it's like if they're around loud noises, they'll just sleep to loud shit. But then if they're
yeah,
if you keep quiet around them, then a cat meows and they're up and yelling and shit. So I think it's kind of the
yeah,
same thing, just as in
yeah.
an adult form. But with the whole Texas and football thing, is there a certain fan group that you can think of that is louder or more annoying than the rest? In your experience, I know it's probably you have different teams that are down there, so
Right.
I'm sure it's probably different in your experience. What is your what's your take on that?
So I think the worst of the worst are football fans. Like I mean, I usually go to soccer games, but
Mm-hmm.
I've also attended a few football games, and so some of us in the soccer games can be a little dirty. Like I think I think we make more fun of like other players when it comes to watching soccer, but when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to football, man, that's when we're like really nasty. And like even my folks and I, like we make some really mean comments, or like we're very what's the word very audible with our
Mm-hmm.
thoughts when we're watching a football game. Um, and like here where I'm at, since we don't have an actual like NFL team in our area, so we're pretty split. We got the Dallas Cowboys fans, we got the Texans, and then you got me who was a Rams fan. So
Mm-hmm.
like I'm just sort of the odd one out.
That SpongeBob meme or the Simpsons meme where he's sitting at the bar and everyone else they'll Photoshop whatever else onto everybody else's
Yeah,
head.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, uh, and then obviously we have the Spurs here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with my area, I think Spurs is pretty loud because that's just sort of who we are as an identity. That's sort of become our because that's our only like national level sport,
Mm-hmm.
uh, other than like some minor leagues, but really it's just the Spurs. So um, I don't think you cannot go to like a garage sale or like a thrift store and not find a Spurs jersey for like $5,
Yeah,
and it's like official merchandise too. But this is so common here. Um, but yeah,
makes sense. I gotta say, I know, like, especially if it's after a win, you can't go to a fucking 7-Eleven without hearing somebody be like, "We them boys," and you're like, "Okay, dude, come on, man. It's 11:30. People are trying to sleep. Can you not
right.
be we them boys in 7-Eleven parking lot guy? But
No.
it's just something I appreciate football because of the whole. I like getting together with a group of friends, getting a
Mhm.
little rowdy, talking a little bit of poop, having a couple drinks. I like that whole aspect of it, but I don't like just go. I don't like just like, well, he's not getting the yard. My fantasy team isn't gonna do well because of. It's just like, dude, can we just fucking yell at something and be
Yeah,
drunk?
no, I think I've done like fantasy football like once, and like after that, I'm like, it's not for me. Like I just rather care for like the amazing pass or the amazing play or whatever, and
Right?
just watch it and enjoy it at the moment. Yeah, I want my team to win, but at the end of the day, if it's a good pass, it's a good
Mm-hmm.
pass. So like, why complain about that?
The guys at my work are always like, "Who's your team? Who's your team?" It's like, I don't care, dude. Like, I just if it's a good game, that's fantastic. I'm glad to have a good game to watch, but I'm not gonna, you know, put all my expectations on this one team. And then of course, then if you pick a team and it's not your local team, then you're gonna get beat up or something. Then they're like, what's this Steelers fan doing here
Right.
in Dallas? They walk up like West Side Story, like ready
Yeah,
to
it's like
fucking jump your.
they put the cowboy hat on.
Mm-hmm. I meant to get my cowboy hat too. I did a joke a couple times where I would do an episode called "So Texas," and I'll be like, this is so Texas, and I would put on the hat and be like,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I don't know where it is, so fuck it. But there is. Have you ever noticed Texas is? It's kind of a cult sometimes.
Yes.
It's like this weird. A lot of the shit we do, the other 49 states do not do for sure. Like, so if we didn't rehearse this. If I was to say, the stars at night are big and bright,
Here in the heart of
then
Texas.
usually, if you're in a stadium or something, everyone goes,
Yeah.
like, that's just like it's like built into who you are as a person to have to clap 4 times when that happens. And it's like,
Right.
did we get have we been hacked or something? Like, did
I and, like, the thing is, like, I don't ever remember, like, that being, like, told repeatedly, like, by us. It's just, I think at birth, some, like, doctor puts a chip in our head. It's like, all right, give me the
Exactly.
Texas chip.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. He's programmed. Thank you.
Give them that Texas update iOS 001, like
Yeah.
we gotta make sure if we ever need to immobilize these guys, all we gotta do is play that part, and then while they're clapping, we can get them.
Yeah, this is like the execute code conservative or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. If we ever get Order 66, we're fucked.
There we go.
Because all they have to do is say that part of the song. And then I also realized, you grow up around this stuff and you don't think it's any different. You think everybody does it, and then you talk to people from other places, especially through the internet and whatnot. And I don't think any other state has an anthem like we do. Like how we would do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we would do the Texas Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah. And all the other kids were like, "You have a Texas Pledge of Allegiance." We have started school by now. You're still doing hand over your heart
recess.
shit?
What are you doing?
Dude, we've been at lunch for 45 minutes. Y'all are still praying? What the hell?
I think that has to do with us being a country at one point, if anything. Because it's like, we still got that pride, even though we were broke as fuck whenever we asked the U.S. to buy us back.
We got that pride, even though I don't know why we have that pride. Like, we really cling on to that real hard. It's like how they still do Civil War reenactments. It's like, how bad do y'all want slaves, bro? Really?
I know.
Like, is it that important to you that you're like, we'll get it this year? No, you know what? We reviewed the tape from the past 80 years. I think I know what to do this time. It's like, damn it, they got us again. Damn you, Abraham Lincoln.
Like, imagine like being like a Confederate like soldier. It's like that one guy who's very passionate about it. Like, yeah, I'm a Confederate soldier, yeah. And he's like high key racist, but he like plays the part. He goes, "Oh no, it's just for the role. It's just for the role." Yeah, I'm not racist, not at all.
Right, he like goes home and takes off his like hat and stuff, and it's like, 364 more days before I get to be who I really am,
Gets back on the computer. All right, where did we fuck up?
Right, yeah. Let's log on to Twitter, not in light mode, and go fucking yell at some people anonymously on the internet. That's definitely who be doing that shit too. I guarantee you, a good majority of the people that participate in that, they're the eggs on Twitter yelling at people all day.
Eggs.
Always the eggs.
I don't approve of those eggs at all. Those are the rotten eggs.
Yeah, they bring a bad name to eggs, and a man like you, especially, even with your background here, it's fair to say you about that egg life, and it's funny that that's your thing, and then we're in BBR, which that's like,
yeah, it's also an egg thing.
Where better of a place to be, an egg enthusiast than the BBR.
It's my home.
Yeah.
It's my home. No, I the recent like TCG set, the Small but Mighty, I think that's the unofficial BBR merch. Like Pokemon sauce, and like they need merch somehow, some way. Take this.
Like they're kind of killing it over there with them views. Let's throw them a shout out.
Oh man, it's crazy to think, like, I believe you were a part of, at the very beginning, right? Whenever we did the tournament. Or were you?
I took over in season 1. Someone dropped, and then I think JB was in it, and he was like, "Yo, you want to take over a spot? It has one of the Pokemon on the team I liked. I don't remember what it was at this point. That was like 6 years ago. Feels like it, at least. And I was like, I'm down. And then, randomly, here we are.
Yeah, honestly. I will never talk about season 1 of the BBR. I think I went like 0-10 or 1-9. And I had like, so the reason I blame this. I meme draft. I had like rain, sun, and hail, I think, on that team.
What in the California did you draft?
No, I had like Pelipper, I had Torkoal, and I was like, yeah, I'm never winning a game, but hey, I'm here.
Right? Never winning a game, but boy, am I going to determine the pace at which these battles go,
You know what it was? It was a Texas-themed draft. That's what it was, because I had a Mudsdale on it. And I remember that was like...
Good horse.
Yeah. I will never... whenever I saw, I think, when was it BBR last season when you brought out the horse? Oh, no. It's... What did I battle? I think NCP, because I had you riding a horse or Mudsdale on my thumbnail. That's what I remember. So,
honored, by the way, because for some reason that's become kind of mine and JB's thing. We made a bunch of jokes about horses, and then we would kind of make the stigma that Mudsdale is the best ground type, and just horse. And then I made a rap about horses whenever Old Town Road came out, and then ever since then it's just been like, well, they're the fucking horse guys, and it's like, I'm not gonna argue with that, dude. Like, I'll take that.
I think of horse and I think of you. I'll be honest. So like,
of course you do.
Hey now.
I'll leave now. Okay, so have you been to Buc-ee's. That's the
Oh,
Texas thing.
oh yeah, no,
You
without
have
a
been,
doubt.
right?
It's our band-aid too.
Yeah. And
At least within the first 24 hours of our birth, we're required to enter a Bucky's in some
yeah, it's
way.
like you gotta get whatever when you come back for your second checkup. You had to have this many shots. You
Yeah.
gotta have gone to Buc-ee's, eaten this many beaver nuggets. Whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I've tried to talk about Buc-ee's to people before, and they're like, "So
What
like,
is that?
it's a gas station?" And it's like, "Yeah, but
It's more than that.
it's so much more. They have, it's a Walmart, but it's a gas
Right.
station, And they have like what? That's the whole thing is that they have 12 yards of candy and then like a whole wall of jerky. It's like
Yeah.
the most unnecessary fucking place to ever exist, but it's awesome. And yeah, it's a little overpriced, but hey, we love it.
Right. No, like it's like whenever you pass by, you have to go to it. Like, it's just unexplainable. Like you just go to Bucky's. Even if you don't buy anything, you just use the restroom at the very least.
Yeah,
you can say I pissed at Bucky's.
They should have T-shirts that are like I pooped at Buc-ee's. They are the cleanest restrooms to ever exist.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I drive for my work, so I'm on the road 8-9 hours a day most of the time. And when I see a Buc-ee's, I'm like, oh, thank God I can I can pee and not have to worry about getting not even COVID, just like I have to worry about getting somebody's random like crabs or something. Because sometimes you go to a QT or a racetrack and it might look nice on the outside, but it gets real greasy when you get in there. But that Buc-ee's, man, it's like it looks like
clean.
It looks like a commercial for cleaning products. Everything's glistening in the light,
This question was brought to you by I can't think of a Fabuloso.
That's the power of Pine Sol, baby.
I was trying to think of a brand, but yeah, no. I think I went to Dallas a few years ago with my theater troupe in high school, and like that's like everyone was like, "We're going to Buc-ee's, we're going to Buc-ee's." It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're all like straggling along, but my God, we went to Buc-ee's before we hit Dallas.
I think even some of those $12 breakfast burritos,
Oh my dude, okay,
so good, but so expensive.
Oh, they're good. It's fine. It's fine. Take my kidney. It's fine.
Right. Take my kidney. That way I don't have to pee as much in your clean ass restroom. I think that's how that works. I don't know.
I don't think so either. I know they're building one in my area.
Nice.
I think I could be wrong, but I think there's one being built at least within like a 10 to 20 mile radius. So we'll see if I'm there more often. If you see me doing a Wi-Fi battle at a Buc-ee's, you know why.
I've heard like stories of people that have had to do Wi-Fi again back in the 3DS days of people that had to do Wi-Fi battles at like a McDonald's parking lot or whatever, something like that. Wow. But that would be the mecca of why, because they have the best internet. They're in there with 5G, fiber, all that shit. They're like, oh, you need this LAN cable? We'll plug you right in, dude. You're in the router.
Got you. It's like Buc-ee's theme and everything. It's like have you seen it's like the charger where it's like a little animal you can place at the bottom of your phone. And it looks like it's numbing. That's their LAN cable.
Yeah, it's the little beaver.
bucket. Little beaver.
It's so funny to me that people that aren't from Texas, they will not understand. I'll have put various pictures on the screen to at least kind of make them understand. But like, it's the most unnecessary, but the most beloved place. Like, I feel like the first time I went, I was like, because before I knew what it was, I saw those stickers everywhere. People put the stickers on their car. And wear the shirts and the hats and all that shit. And I was always like, that little beaver, what the fuck? And then finally I went there and was like, it all like clicked. I was like, oh, this place is, for that many stickers have to been on people's cars, this place has got to be cool. So I went in there like, this place better be cool. And then I went in there and I was like, I get it now. This place is badass.
You left with like buck teeth. Poking out like, I get it now.
I leave wearing the t-shirt and like not Mickey Mouse ears, but it's like the little beaver hat or something.
I have a guitar case for a guitar I have played in over a decade. It's the sticker that says "I break for beavers," and it's been on there for years. And I'm just like, yep, nope. I don't think you can go into any house in Texas and not find some sort of like beaver or a Buc-ee's like logo there.
Straight up,
it's just impossible.
I had a buddy that had a heart transplant right before, like I want to say it was around December of last year.
Oh wow.
So when COVID hit, he was on like the high, whatever you call it, the high, I almost said high infidelity, but that's not what that is. He was on basically they were like, you could, if you get this, it's going to fuck you. You have a different person's heart in you. So don't fucking go outside. And he was like, man, he was saying something, we were talking in call and he was like, I miss Buc-ee's beef jerky. And I was like, I go to Buc-ee's every Wednesday because one of the places I deliver to is like almost in Bucky's parking lot. So I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? I'm gonna do this man a solid. I'm gonna swing by. I'm gonna make him a little Bucky's care package, and I got him like some of the trail mix, some of the beef jerky, some of those the little saltine crackers that they dip in
Mhm.
ranch and shit, and then I think I got him the chocolate covered beaver nuggets as well. And I was just like, this will hold you. You know, I know haven't had any good solid Bucky's shit in like a year. So I was like, here's a little little drop box for you.
Yeah,
And he appreciated it too. It's
that's
like
good.
you go through them Bucky withdrawals. I know it.
Yeah,
It'd be like that.
yeah. No, it's like that little Bucky sticker starts itching. You're like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah, you see just not even the Bucky. You see just any beaver, and you're like, oh shit.
I gotta go. You
Dave
get in your
Chappelle.
car, like, where am I going? Oh, I know where I'm going. Going to Bucky's.
They're popping up everywhere too. It makes sense
Yeah.
that they'd be building one close to you because I swear, like they're
Yeah,
everywhere.
I know they've been adding more and more over the years. See, I don't remember when it first was established though. Like,
I don't either.
how old is the Bucky?
What
How old
came
is that?
first, the Texas or the Bucky? Like, did people come to Texas because there was a Bucky's in between here and Mexico? Like they were like, well, maybe we should go check that place out.
They got clean restrooms there.
Right.
It's just like,
We gotta take some weird, 14th century shits, so we should go into this Bucky's before we all die of polio. I think I don't know. That's probably what some people died from back then, but I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not a history person.
Other Texas things. You just mentioned today too on Twitter. You're not a big fan of the spicy foods,
No,
Which
I'm
is-
Hispanic.
which is the least Hispanic thing I've ever heard you say.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
I'm pretty sure some person at the hospital, they switched up my spice tongue, and they were like, "Oh, he's white. It's cool. Here you go."
They gave you the Texas chip and forgot to give you the fucking
The spicy
the
chip. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's just like as a kid, I never liked like hot Cheetos. I never understood like the whole crave. Remember there was one year where I was out camping with family and I saw like a Taki bag and it was open and I grabbed one and licked it and I died. I was like, give me water, give me milk, and I feel more tolerable to it, but I try to avoid spice when I can. And
Mhm.
so with that whole like, give me to 200 subscribers and all I'll do is like the hot sauce taste test. Like that's not going to be good fun for me at all. But I figured fans want to see like their content creator in pain, so I figured, hey, that's a good incentive, right?
They do love seeing people in pain. That's for sure. I will, if you want, DM me your address and I'll send you some samples of that of those sauces. Now,
Yeah.
this is
And
episode. I think it's
Uh-huh.
episode 48 or something. On episode 50, me and my buddy are gonna do this, which is not going to be fun. I am scared, and even this box is threatening. Like it's got an aura. It's like on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, how they'll have the threatening, the menacing, or whatever aura.
Yeah.
It has that. It's so scary. I don't like looking at it. I'm scared.
It's shaped like a coffin too. Like it's gonna send you to death.
Yeah. I got it around Halloween time, and I was like, "Oh, this is borderline festive at this point. Like it is. There is death on my nightstand. Holy shit!" But so while we're on the subject, definitely, guys, if you haven't already, get this man to 200 subs. Watch him eat some hot sauce. It'll be a grand old time. Obviously, your links and whatnot will be down in the description. And I usually do a little pre-intro thing to this that I'll mention all your stuff in as well. But I used to be the same way. I did not like. I couldn't. Taco Bell mild sauce was as spicy as it got for me, and even then, I would kill a whole cup of Baja Blast just trying to wash down the mild sauce. So, but then I quit smoking like a year and a half ago or so, and it changed my palate. Like, yeah, I didn't, because they say your taste buds change every 7 years or whatever. It's like your credit score, I think, about every 7 years. It'd be cool if they were synced up too. So it's like, 7 years passed, time for new taste buds and new credit, But so I started liking. I don't even know how I figured it out, but I started liking spicy shit. I started trying more spicy shit, and then I started feeling myself. I was like, I'm eating. The next step up at Taco Bell, I'm feeling good. I put hot sauce and shit on pizza and stuff now. So we did the Hot Ones challenge of we had bought those three. My roommate bought those 3 sauces. So when Pat came to visit, we ate them all and made a video of it. And god damn it, I was like, man, I got this, no problem. I did not have this. I was so bad. I made it through without drinking any milk, which I was proud of, but I did drink, I think, 4 White Claws and a bottle of water. And at one point, I licked the cold can of the White Claw, just trying to, just for some kind of relief, just trying. But
No, I think I might have a few gallons next to me when I do that challenge if I hit it.
For sure.
Um, I think I might record it after I turn 21 so I can actually, legally.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, here's my. I can't say it right now because I'm underage, but if we were in Mexico, I'd be
Yeah.
I'd be drinking some.
You just change your Zoom background to something relatively looking like
Uh,
Mexico and be
let
like,
me
I
go to
can
a
drink
soccer
now.
game real
Yeah.
quick.
See,
Be
there's
right
a
back.
cactus and shit. I think I can drink here. I don't know.
If you look a little to the left, you can see Trump's wall.
Yeah.
All four walls of it.
Right? Half built, left there. 4
And look
years
who's
was not
building
long enough, apparently, um,
it.
to get it built. What else do we have here on the list of Texas shit? So how are you? I know if you don't like spicy stuff, that's one thing. But how are you with like what's your go-to like barbecue spot? Now I know you're a little bit more southern than me as far as Texas goes. So
Yeah.
up here we have a few places that are like chains that everyone talks about that are good. But what's your what do y'all have down there? What's your go-to spot?
So there's this place. Shoot, I think it's called Smoke Shack. I've been there a few times now, and their
Mhm.
barbecue was just delicious. They have this thing where it's like they put their pulled pork with some macaroni and cheese, and they put their barbecue sauce on that, and it's just delicious.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, I first went there in high. Comes back to high school. I was volunteering for some like organization, and my the sponsor or whatever, she was like, "Oh, let's go to this one spot," and so we all went, and we all went. And it was magnifico, and we actually I bought some with my best friend 2 months ago. We went out, and I had like the smell of the barbecue in my nose for the next few days, and I was angry that I couldn't have any more. I was like, I need it. I need it now.
Like on a cartoon when they put the pie on the windowsill and the smell will grab somebody by
Yeah,
the nose. Yeah.
yeah. It's like I was like floating. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, no. So Smoke Shack, and then it's not in my area, and I'm forgetting what it's called. But whenever we go to Houston, there's like this little one-off restaurant that it won't be any help if I can't remember the name. But we always go there when we pass by if we're in the need for barbecue, and that's always good. That's another good spot. I just can't remember the name. So let's call it Destination B.
Destination
That's
B. That's the
yeah,
spot. So
yeah,
is it now is it I know different barbecues around the US. They have like Kansas City barbecue, which is
yeah,
like sweeter kind of stuff. And then Texas barbecue I think is more on like the it's like spicier and more
yeah.
savory.
Mhm.
What's your preference on that? Are you are you a honey barbecue kind of guy? Are you a
I, I'm
Cajun barbecue kind of guy?
I'm definitely more of a honey barbecue kind of guy.
I gotcha. I guess that
My
makes sense
grandfather
with
had
the spice thing.
yeah. My grandfather had such a sweet tooth, and I think he like when I was born, he put the tooth and put it in my mouth. Because so like on top of my with like the spicy chip in the Texas chip, he was
Yeah,
like,
he went to
yeah,
that
here you
nurse
go.
and they were like fumbling with all the chips and teeth.
Yeah. And so yeah, no, I have a huge sweet tooth, so like I definitely like my barbecue kind of sweet. Like the honey barbecue sauce from Whataburger. Mm, mm, mm. Like if I'm ever like bedridden, like and they give me the IV, I want honey barbecue going into my IV. So
Put
no,
it
no
in
IV,
my veins.
barbecue.
You're right.
Yes.
I don't need saline, bro. I need honey honey barbecue.
Hmm.
And I still hear it in the announcer guy's voice, the honey barbecue chicken strip
Chicken. Yeah.
sandwich. And like it's like he's saying that as he's stroking it. He's like honey barbecue chicken strip, it's what you want.
Yeah.
Like and you're like, "Okay, well, I'm still going to eat it." So um that makes sense though. I'm kind of the same way. I like some spice in the barbecue, but it's just it it never tastes better than like a sweeter kind of
Yeah.
savory fucking
And there's nothing wrong with like a little spice to it, but like,
mhm,
yeah, I'm more leaning towards the sweeter variant and all that.
for sure. And it's just man, it's just so good, especially on like wings and stuff. Never gets old.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you feel about like I don't know if you listen to country music at all or if you're ever in that scene or whatever. When I was growing up, my mom only listened to country music, so I fucking hated country music. I was like, this is like the I want Blink 182, I want Fight the Man shit. I'm gonna listen to Rage Against the Machine and just be angry for an hour. And then I grew up and I was like, okay, country music's it's some of it's pretty good. Especially like Texas country. Some of it I get into, but if you ever go to like a concert
Hmm.
and you're not wearing boots, they they look at you weird. They're like, ew, this guy's he's not from here. Get this guy the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. Get out, dork, or something. Like they're calling you like nerd and dork and dweeb and shit. But
Get your Nike ass out of here.
do you own as a Texan? Do you own cowboy boots? Is that something that you have in your uh Your
I used to.
repertoire?
Cowboy hat, I definitely do. Do
Mm-hmm.
I wear it?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much. Because I think my area is mainly Hispanic than like compared to like country,
Mm-hmm.
especially like my university. My university is like mainly Hispanic, but I definitely knew a few people who like in high school wore like their boots every single day. You know, like in lunch they were like polishing it up, and I was like basically like their girlfriend at the time, and it was like, "Ooh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stay clear away from them." But yeah, no, as a kid, I remember my folks buying me a boot. We have like a boot shop in my area too that we used to go to all the time. It's like the leather smell. I'm very familiar with
Mm-hmm.
from those shops. Um, yeah, no, we have some cowboy hats downstairs that we just never wear,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it just doesn't fit like our style anymore.
Yeah. But for
Um,
special occasions, it's good to have it. You know, it's like a
yeah,
gun. It's like I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
it's
You
like
know.
the backup hat. It's like
Yep.
you know.
um. Oh, what was I about to say? Fucking the leather smell and the
Mhm.
feeling of, especially when you're younger and you don't get to pick the shoes that you wear, trying to like trying on boots is the most uncomfortable thing because you always, it's never the first one that you put on is never good for you,
Mhm.
right? So it's always like you're trying to jam your fucking foot. You're like, can I get some Vaseline or something to get this on? Like, Jesus. I remember going to a wedding when I was a kid, and it was like a, that was the theme of the wedding. It was at like a at some like golf course that was all westerned out, and there was like, with the cattle, the fucking longhorn skulls and shit everywhere. So everyone was in like uh basically denim. Everyone was in just like denim tuxedos or whatever. But everyone was wearing their boots and shit. I remember like just fucking just being so angry trying to get that oiled up leather boot on my little stupid child foot, and it does not go. There's
No.
a certain type of pain that I will forever remember of trying to get the boots on, and then even worse trying to get them back off because
Right,
like
because
it just.
it's logged up to like your calf, and it's like, oh, come on now. I have very white feet, and so like as a kid, like I
Same.
basically was eligible for like clown shoes at that point, and so like digging that foot in, it was just very cramped, and I just never liked it.
Hmm.
I was just giving my flip flop. Goddamn, have you seen those boots flip flops?
I have
Um,
seen those. Unfortunately, I have seen those.
unfortunately, like I think that's like if anything more text than the traditional boots. It's flip flops with a boot.
I think those are
Like
still better than Crocs for sure.
yeah, without a doubt. Though I will admit I do. It's not the traditional Croc, but it's the Croc brand. That's the shoe I wear. It's like loafers.
Mm.
So like that's what I wear, but they're comfy. So like, but so like I'm kind of like in the closet when it comes to Croc shoes. Like I hate the traditional Crocs, but the Crocs that I wear, they're nice. They're
Yeah,
nice.
now you got that those Narwhal 11s, I think is
Oh
what they
yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah. Hold up. They're over there. I'll grab. Let me go. Wait, I don't know if you can see them. Let me grab them. Let me grab them. Um. Yeah, I woke up and
Oh,
my sister's cleaning out her room, and I saw these on the floor, and I was like, I'm gonna keep these suckers. They're mine now. And
they're more sparkly than I remember them being on Twitter
oh,
yesterday.
they are of the sparkles, and I was like, I put them on, and they fit, and I'm like, these are mine now, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then on Snap, I posted it on my Snapchat, and she was like, "What the fuck? You can have them." I'm like, "Yeah, we got them, ladies and gentlemen. We got them."
We take those literally.
Yeah, we take those
We fucking
literally.
take those. Where did my pen go? That's hilarious though. Um, oh man, so what else do we got here? As far as like, because I know like there's, especially over the course of this podcast, there's been so much dumb Texas shit that I always am like, I don't know why we do this, but it's a thing that we
Yeah.
do, and I don't know why we do it. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you've ever noticed like that? Just weird things that probably people other than us wouldn't get. I know we've covered a lot
Um,
of it.
I don't know if this really is a Texas thing, but our speed, we like to go above the speed limit everywhere. Like no matter what, like if you're going the speed limit, you're going slow.
Yeah, especially if you're in that
Um,
left lane and you're going the speed limit.
oh yeah, no, like forget it. Like you're gonna get flicked off, you can get honked at.
Veered
Um,
off the road.
yeah, exactly. Like I remember the street that I usually drive to school is 40, and I remember one morning, I saw the cops, and I'm trying to go 40 because I was going 45,
Mhm.
and they passed me and they're going 50. I'm like, really? Come on now, fuck this shit.
I
Um,
I
yeah, no,
remember.
I think.
Oh, go
Uh huh.
ahead.
No, no, no. So I was like the highway too. Like, I try to push it on the highway. I usually hit like 80 to 85.
Mm-hmm.
And my older car was hitting 90, and I was like, all right, let's go fast, motherfucker. Um, but with this new car, it's not as fast. So like the max I can hit is 80 on the highway, and I'm like,
I'll
still
do it.
fast, still 20 over. So like I
Yeah.
like to go 25.
They
But
should
whatever.
get it.
Yeah.
The people behind you, they should get it. I know I grew up in a really really small town, and when I moved to like a like I live in Arlington now, which is where the Cowboy Stadium and shit is. So like
Right.
when I moved here, it was different because where I went to school, and this is a whole bit that I was planning on doing on stage and shit. When I went to school growing up it was in a small town called Joshua, and we only had two like there was no diversity. There was a bunch of Mexican kids, a bunch of white kids, like a handful of Asian kids. There's always random Asians, but there was only two black kids in our whole school, which was so weird because and then that's just how life was, So I didn't think anything of it. And then I moved to Arlington, and it's like the opposite. Now it's like me and one other white kid, and then in just a sea of like black kids and Mexican kids. I was like, what the fuck? It was like that scene in Shawshank Redemption when they're entering the prison. And he's like, I don't belong here, man. I was like, I think I got dropped off at the wrong school. Mom, wait, come back. And
Yeah, no.
my birthday is on it's August 16th, which is the first day of school for us a lot of times. So I get dropped off. It's my fucking birthday. I'm at what I think is the wrong school. My mom, who is hilarious, and I say that sarcastically in this scenario because she wrote all over the window with like the window chalk. She wrote like honk for my son's birthday. It's all pink, flowery letters like honk. It's his birthday. She's dragging 10 cans behind the car like it's a wedding and shit. She's blaring Britney Spears out of the windows on. My brother's in the back seat like, this guy's a pussy, like beat this kid up. And I was just like, this is the worst. And I had just moved. I went to kindergarten through 6th grade. I went at different schools but in small towns. So now I'm at this big school in 7th grade and 8th grade, and I was like, life's over. Life just started.
This is it.
And it's already over. I'm forever gonna be that one of the two white kids here whose mom apparently fucking wants him to get beat up a lot.
Yeah.
And when your birthday's on the first day of school, you know what you get as presents? You get binders and staplers and shit. It's like, can I get I'm about to be 16. Can I get, car related stuff? Maybe like a stereo, maybe some gas cards. They're like, oh, I hope you like Mead 5 stars, asshole, because that's what you're getting, buddy. You like notebook paper because we got you college rules, even though that's not what the school asked for, So, that was always weird for me. And then, but I kind of went off on a tangent. But I was getting to the speed limit thing. The speed limits in the city, at school zones, they're 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But if you go in the country, it's like 35 or 45. How fast are these fucking kids? Like how they're just eating cornbread and fucking gravy every day and just running to school. Like,
yeah, no.
That was always insane to me. Is that the same for you?
No, it's since I live in the city, it's 20 over here. But I'm pretty sure like where I went to school, like families, my parents were going 30. They're like, if I hit a kid, I hit a kid. It doesn't matter.
They're like, we got plenty of them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a possum. They're on the road sometimes. You just keep going.
It's survival of the fittest at that point.
It's like, what do they say when you see a deer? It's like you can't veer, or then
you just go straight. You go straight.
You can't veer because then you're probably still gonna hit the deer, and then you're gonna wreck too. So it's like you gotta just go, and they're gonna do the whole headlights thing, and you probably just gotta hit them, or
Yeah, at that point it's just like it's too late.
Yeah, so I think it's the same thing with kids. It's like fuck them.
Yeah,
fuck them kids.
It's an extra speed bump. At that point.
It really is.
It's Jimmy. Oh, okay.
He just jimmied my trunk loose with that speed bump. Jesus Christ. But when I lived out in the country, I lived with it was weird. We were getting a house built, and we lived with my great aunt, and she was eternal. She was like literally old as fuck, and she had it's weird. I mentioned polio earlier. She had polio in her arms, so she was like the first nerd, dude. It was weird. She would like watch Star Trek and all that shit, and she could use her fingers but not her arms. So she would write novels on the first computer ever made. She would put a pin between her toes and write fucking novels, one weird key tap with a pen at a time. And I just thought that was the craziest shit.
Yeah.
it was funny because I guess she lost a lot of like feeling or whatever in like the front of her body. So when she would sneeze, she would just go, "Achoo," and I would be like, like, was that real? And she'd be like, are you fucking rude, kid? Are you not gonna say bless you? I was like, I didn't know that was a real sneeze. I thought you were just maybe you were reading a line from one of your feet novels, auntie. Like, I don't know. Was that was a word cosplaying as a sneeze is what that was. That's not even a real thing, like what the fuck. But shit's crazy, man. She has since passed, so F's in the chat.
Okay.
But she fucking it was always so weird. I feel like I'm going off on tangents here, but there was a story that my mom would always tell me that that she would watch. She's my great aunt, right? So my grandma would have my great aunt watch the kids. So my mom would get in trouble, and then she would, it was back when you could hit kids. It was fine, So my mom would get in trouble, and she would have to get spanked. So my aunt with polio would make her lay down on the floor in front of her, and she would just like stomp on her like she was spanking her. But it wasn't. You couldn't teach anybody a lesson, but it was just like, well, we're here, and this is just what we're gonna do. So you got to take your lickings, kid. And while you're down there, why don't you clean out my keyboard for me? Oh man.
Wow. No. It's weird to think like hitting your children. Like, I think our teachers, were the ones that are getting spanked with like the hold out paddles, so it's like less air resistance.
Yeah.
So they had it down to a science. They were like, if we implement these many holes into it, like that will be the most optimal swinging speed. This
right.
Maximum pain.
That's the only time they're actually using the science that they teach in class.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We got to get the fucking win. They're like having the kids do equations to get the perfect for the paddle to be used on the kids.
So, mister, what is this for? You'll find out one day, kid. You'll find out.
They had one of those in my elementary school. I never saw it get used, but I think it was more of like a, to ward off, like how how in like the country they'll put a coyote skull on the fence post to kind of ward off the other coyotes. I think it was the same thing. It's like we'll put the old paddle up on the wall so that way the kids will be like, oh shit, they paddle kids here still. Jesus Christ,
they mean business here.
I thought that was illegal. I don't know. That might have been. I'm 27, so it might have already been illegal when I was a kid. But you do hear some horror stories about some shit like that, from parents and older kids and whatnot. Like it used to be like not even Catholic school. I guess it used to be worse, just everywhere. Like it was just brutal. You're a bad kid, you got the shit beat out of you just on your ass, but you got knocked around a little bit.
Yeah, I know. And it makes you wonder. Like, is it because it's making they're so much taller than us? Like.
It's because it's those kids in the country running 45 miles an hour through the speed zones. They're like, we got to use weapons. Yeah, we can't discipline these kids. Oh man.
We're hitting them and they're just smiling at us. It's just so creepy.
Were you a sports kid? Did you play anything, or were you just doing theater and comedy and shit?
So I did sports when I was younger, but I let's just say I did them and not actually ask how well I did. I was way chubbier than I am now when I was younger, and so that's when I was playing sports. And there was like this local community center that like would always host like the sports and all that. So I played like basketball, soccer, football. It was rather flag football, baseball, and so I did that for a few years, and I did soccer middle school, and so right when I got to high school, that's really where I dropped soccer. I dropped it for theater. I used to play goalkeeper a lot, and actually I miss playing soccer, if I could be honest. I've been meaning to go back since I'm now taller.
You're now here, reach the top of the goal, bitch. How you gonna get it in now?
And so like, I've had some good saves as a keeper, even though I was I don't know how I jumped so high, but I blocked the ball a few times. So yeah, like when this whole COVID thing is over, I think that's something I want to do is hit up a few old friends, like, hey, let's go kick the ball around, or just kick the ball at me so I can block it.
Right.
So yeah, no, I started as a striker, and then as the years went by, I became midfielder and then defender, and I found myself in the goalposts. So, and I've liked it ever since. I've messed up my knees though from like just dropping on my knees from like trying to prevent the ball. So if I hit my knee, it hurts a whole lot more than it should, and I'm like, all right, cool.
You're like, damn, that's gonna suck in 30 years,
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, yeah, man. I think that's like I'm so like ADHD. If I don't write down like points of things to talk about, I fucking go all over the place, which I still do. But I guess that's the point of the podcast now. But that's all. That's about all I got. You got anything
Okay.
else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I had this. You said a crazy story. Uh, okay. My best friend, he goes to Comic Con, the one in San Diego, every year,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nerd.
just
I
biggest
go to
fucking
him
nerd
too.
you can.
It happens.
Shout out to Thomas. And 3 years ago, he invited me, so I decided to go with him. And we had some really weird encounters, like on the way back to the hotel. So the very first, well, first and foremost, like we drove to San Diego in one go, so 24 hours in a single car, and
Damn.
it's me and his family, and it's like this is like my first time really like meeting the family. You know, you go to your friend's house and they're very nice, but I got to meet the real side of the family, and I was terrified.
The road
Like,
rage side.
yeah, and like his dad was actually being a dad, and I was like, oh god, I if I fuck up, my ass is on the line now, and so there was we stopped like halfway, and I thought I thought we were gonna go in one go. We stopped halfway, and like the dad turns off the car, and it's like the middle of the night, and I swear to God, I thought I was gonna die in that car. Like I'm like falling asleep. I'm like, is this where it ends? Oh God. So I fall asleep and I wake up and we're driving. I'm like, okay, either this is heaven, or we're still going. Anyway, so we get to San Diego. The first night of the convention, we're heading back, and so we stayed at this like this. I think it was a timeshare or something. It wasn't a hotel, but it was some room.
Mm-hmm.
We're heading back, and we hit like the corner, and this car stops right in front of us, and they're handing out these boxes, and it's like, okay, so he and I walk up to it, and they hand us. I get a box, and I open it. It's a donut. My best friend, he comes up to it, and he grabs one, and some guy, this asshole, comes back, grabs the box from him, and goes, "This is mine," and walks away. And so like this big fucking asshole. And so we thought these were laced, and we were like, all right, we're gonna have a good time tonight. But it was just some gourmet donut, and it was like a unicorn. I was like, well, fuck, okay, whatever. The next day, we're heading back to the room, and these nuns just start walking down in the middle of the road, and I'm like, what the actual fuck? And this nun is like walking around the crowd, and she's handing out these pamphlets, and I'm like, what the fuck? I grab it, and I can't read it. It's apparently Latin. And then the nuns are still walking, and they stop, and they start doing this whole chant, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I checked the back of the pamphlet, and it was a promotion for the fucking Nun, the film that came out. I was terrified though, because you can't see their faces, like their faces covered, and it's all black, and I'm like, what is going on? And yeah, no, and then that whole convention too, they almost closed it down because they were selling some exclusive My Hero merch, and so getting in line for the Viz Media booth was causing a stir. Like people were acting like sharks because they were circling the entrance to that booth because they wanted to get this shit. I got an exclusive like My Hero cover for the first volume, which I hold dear to my position now, and it was insane. Yeah, no, those nuns will forever like be like in the back of my memory. And I'm not a huge horror fan, so I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going back to the room.
I bet. Shit. You're like, they're handing out laced donuts. There's nuns about to have a ritual. Maybe that's part of it. They're going to summon a sugar demon or something.
I'm never going back to San Diego in my life.
All might help. We're being culted. Fuck.
I actually was cosplaying as Deku at the time, so it could have been.
They were probably more weirded out by like all the Comic-Con kids. They're like, we're supposed to be the only ones dressed up here?
Yeah, I know.
Why are all these superheroes here? They got numbers on us. Fuck.
But yeah, no, that was my crazy story.
That is.
I was gonna like end it off with a joke, but I was like, I have to end at the nun part because it's fucking creepy as hell.
Fair enough. Fair fucking enough. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on. I don't know. Sure. Actually, let's see how long this was because I feel like it flew by because it's been a blast. But yeah, that's over an hour. Goddamn. I usually do these between 20 and 30 minutes if it's just me. And then if there's a guest, I'm like, let's just talk until we're done. So that's right. Fucking fantastic. Awesome. I do appreciate you coming on. Seriously,
for sure, man.
You're welcome back anytime if you ever have shit you want to promote. Yeah, guys, definitely go check out Jorge. Like I said, I usually do a little intro in the beginning, let you know the deets and whatnot. But check him out. Get this man to 200. If you're ever wondering to yourself if you want to sub to Jorge or not, just remember, yes and.
Yes, and.
But yeah, guys, like, subscribe, do all that bullshit, and I'll see you next week. And I think this is episode 48, so in 2 episodes, I'll be fucking eating this shit with Pat, and it'll be horrible. So look forward to that, and bye forever.